Hello and welcome to the first annual Brain Jeopardy. I'm your host, Mr. Oblongata. Today's categories are: what part of the brain am I pointing to? CNS or PNS, name that gland and other potpourri, pictures of the brain, or name that imaging technique. Our contestants today are Mr. Warnicki and Miss Broca. Mr. Warnicki, you won the coin toss backstage, so you get to go first today.
Mr. Oblongata, I'll have name that gland for 10, please.
This gland controls the release of epinephrine. Epinephrine is the hormone produced during the fight or flight responses.
What is the adrenal gland?
That is correct, Mr. Warnicki.
10 points for Gryffindor!
As you can see, the adrenal glands are atop the kidneys and increase heart rate and blood pressure during the fight or flight responses.
I'll take CNS or PNS for 20.
So that's CNS or PNS as in PNS for 20.
Yes, that's PNS for 20.
So CNS or PNS for 20. The parasympathetic nervous system involves the conservation of energy, decreasing of the heartbeat, and lowering of blood sugar.
What is CNS?
Oh, sorry, that's not the answer that we were looking for.
What was that again?
PNS. The answer is PNS. The parasympathetic nervous system, which is part of the peripheral nervous system, produces the opposite effects of the sympathetic nervous system, which help to keep our internal state in equilibrium. Name that imaging technique for 40.
What kind of imaging device is this for 40 points?
What is the electroencephalogram?
Oh.
Whoa, we have a smarty pants over here.
He's so smart!
Yes, the electroencephalogram, or EEG for short, uses electrodes attached to the patient's head to show brain activity in waves. It even has the ability to detect seizures and epilepsy even before they happen. Alright, I'll take what part of the brain am I pointing to for 30.
Quick, look down, look up. What is Evan pointing at?
Oh, that's obviously the neurobiopsychosocial networking transmitting lobe.
What'd she say?
Miss Broca, what you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I had ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could resemble a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber because of you. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
A simple no would have been just fine.
The answer is the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe involves several functions such as motor functions, planning, reasoning, judgment, and impulse control. The frontal lobes can be found in the anterior portion of the cerebral cortex. I will have CNS or PNS for 30.
CNS or PNS for 30. The reflexes are automatic responses to stimuli, or otherwise known as the knee-jerk response. They also include pathways from a sensation on your hand to your brain.
What is the central nervous system?
That's correct. The reflexes work as a pathway from the sensory neurons in your hand to the spinal cord, which automatically sends an impulse reaction, pulling your hand away from the hot stove, for example.
Name that brain imaging technique for 40.
Name this type of imaging device for 30.
That's the fMRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging.
Yes, that is correct. The functional magnetic resonance imaging system is the best of both worlds, combining MRI and PET scans. It shows in-depth structures of the brain as well as the brain's activity.
Name that gland for 40.
Name that gland for 40. This controls the master gland and is thereby the controller of all other glands in the human body.
That's the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is a very small but extremely important part of the diencephalon that is involved in the mediation of endocrine autonomic functions. These include temperature regulation, sexual behavior, and emotional responses.
Our next category.
Yay!
And that's a signal that we're out of time. For next time, I'm Mr. Oblongata, and join us next week when we focus on the nature versus nurture section. Thank you.
I'm Mr. Wernicke.
And I'm Miss Broca, and thanks for watching Brain Jeopardy.
And now, the parts of the brain, performed by the brain.
Yes. Neocortex, frontal lobe,
Brainstem!
hippocampus, neural node, right hemisphere, pons and cortex,
Transmitting
visual,
lobe.
What?
Brainstem!
Sylvian Fisher pineal, left hemisphere. Cerebellum left, cerebellum right. Synapse hypothalamus, striatum dendrite. Axon fibers matter gray. Central tegmental pathway, temporal lobe. White core matter, forebrain skull.
Brainstem!